It's so quiet when I come to the stage. Are we on? Nope? Yay, okay. Good afternoon and welcome to this year's Student Affairs Annual Recognition Program. My name is Meg Junk and I co-chair the Professional Development and Recognition Committee along with Elena Savoy. We are excited that we can host this year's event in a hybrid format thanks to enhanced technology and access to COVID-19 vaccines. For those of you joining us in person, we do ask that you please continue to follow protecting the PAC guidelines throughout today's event. If you are joining us virtually, well, you can do whatever you want. Can't see you. This year has been nothing short of challenging. Remembering this time last year, we thought we just needed to make it through the semester, and then by fall, everything would be okay. Joke was on us. Little did we know we were just getting started. We have mastered virtual meetings, asked students to pull up their masks, tackled small in-person events with guidelines, and learned to host virtual events on different platforms. We have frantically checked documents for gateway testing and improved our processes. We have spit in a tube. We've asked students to pull up their masks. Through it all, we have learned how to be more flexible and adapt. Some of us have gained the COVID-19. Some have invested in creating work from home environments. And many of us have had to learn the art of being home all day with your partner, kids, animals. And did I mention, we have asked students to pull up their masks. No matter the challenge, the staff and student affairs have continued to rise to the occasion and put our students first. I could not be part of a better team. As is tradition, Dr. Kelly Weisner-Michael started our year with a theme. This year's theme, time, ties well into today's event. As we reflect on the past year and focus on our accomplishments as individuals, departments, and a division, we really reflect on the time that we have spent. Before we get into more serious matters, we always like to start off with some more fun memories from the past year. And although pictures were taken a little less often this year, it's hard to take pictures with your colleagues from 6 feet apart. We were able to beg, borrow, and steal some great memories from this past year. So please join us in a little viewing party as we kick off today's event.
Thank you to all who shared memories for our show this year, and congratulations to all the individuals who are highlighted for their accomplishments as we enjoy to look back at a year we will certainly never forget. Through this past year, we have been at the forefront of the creation of best practices around student engagement and success in a virtual world. Many members of our division continued working daily on campus to serve our students' basic needs. Many others served our students virtually and/or have come back to campus this semester to be present for our students at a time when few other employees were coming to campus. There is no doubt our time has been spent differently this year, and I'm confident we each learned a lot about ourselves along the way. Thanks to the dedication and passion seen from each of you, we have not just survived this past year, but we served and impacted our students and crushed this pandemic. This afternoon, we'll be recognizing individuals as well as presenting our annual awards, for which several of you submitted nominations. To get us started, I would like to invite Aubrey Hens to present the Outstanding Graduate Assistant Award.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have the privilege of recognizing some of the amazing graduate assistants who have served in our division. The Outstanding Graduate Assistant Award highlights the accomplishment of a graduate assistant who has made outstanding contributions toward achieving departmental goals while also working to embrace the student affairs core values in conjunction with demonstrating leadership within their field. This year's nominees were Jayla Hill, Jordan Henderson, Julie Roble, Kayla Breland, Marissa Dordick, Miko De La Cruz, and Marissa Mazer. The nominator for our first winner wrote, "This person is the embodiment of NIU's mission to empower students through educational excellence and experiential learning. They are extremely mindful of creating spaces where students can learn, but also feel like they can ask questions or even push back on things that they find unfair." Another supporter shared, "This person was pivotal in founding a working student staff to support support group for community advisors and desk assistants who identify as Black or Brown. This group was co-led by this person and another graduate assistant in the department and has brought a lot of value to the experience of our student staff. From this group, our winner utilized what they learned or what is discussed by the group to better advocate for and ensure student staff voices are represented and the department can grow in its support of students and staff of color. It is my pleasure to present the Outstanding Graduate Assistant Award to Jayla Hill from Housing and Residential Services. Please join me in congratulating Jayla, who is joining us virtually today. This year, we are also excited to recognize another student for our Outstanding Graduate Assistant Award. A nominator for our second winner wrote, "This GA has implemented individual one-on-one meetings with their students for individualized attention and care, something that has never been done before in this role. They saw a gap in support and started these meetings on their own, showing initiative as a professional in the field and demonstrating their commitment and support to student-centered service." Another nominator wrote, "I have seen them grow in their ability to support while also challenging our students. They have challenged students on viewpoints and perspectives in a way that has created an intentional dialogue. They have been able to create relationships with our students to where they see this person as an advocate and a trusted partner. This person came into their position during the pandemic and has been incredibly flexible and willing to jump in wherever they are needed." It is my pleasure to present our second Outstanding Graduate Assistant Award to Miko De La Cruz from Fraternity and Sorority Life. Miko, please come to the stage to accept your award. Congratulations to both of our outstanding graduate assistants. I would like to invite Elena back to the stage to introduce our next award.
Next up, we will present the Outstanding Administrative Support Staff Award. This award highlights an administrative support staff member who provides an outstanding student-centered service and supports departmental and divisional goals with professionalism and enthusiasm. This year's nominees were Kathy Hodgkinson, Peggy Hayes, and Tam Clavingay. The nominator for this year's recipient noted that they are willing to offer a helping hand and jump into a conversation to determine the best way to serve our students. This person always has a smile on their face and is genuinely happy all the time. Throughout the pandemic, this person has jumped into different roles with positivity and has given grace when times have been difficult. There is no doubt that students who interact with this person feel they are important and that they are going to do everything possible to help them with any need in any moment. A colleague wrote, one moment. A colleague wrote that they are impressed with our winners' ability to handle difficult situations calmly and collectively. This person has strong organizational skills and a friendly and personable demeanor. This year's recipient has worked in multiple areas around the college and offers her skills and knowledge to any areas that may benefit. If they do not know how to do something, they jump right in to contact anyone and everyone to help determine the best way moving forward. They take the time to get things done right and efficiently. Today's winner is joining us virtually. Please help me in congratulating the Outstanding Administrative Support Staff Award to Kathy Hodgkinson from the Office of Student Conduct. Congratulations to Kathy, and thank you for all you do. Next, I would like to introduce the Outstanding Supervisor Award. This award recognizes a manager or supervisor in student affairs who has made an outstanding contribution towards supervising or managing staff through providing feedback, effectively building team cohesion, identifying and applying professional development, demonstrating effective communication skills, and embodying NIU core values. Our nominees for this year are Charlie Cherry, Kelly Olson, and Will Nolan Lamb. The nominator for our winner wrote, "In our work together, I have watched this person flourish in cultivating their talents and understanding how to forge a more equitable path for their students as well as their colleagues. They are by far one of the most dedicated and driven people I have had the chance to work with." Supporters of this nomination said, "This person gives their supervisees validation and is excellent at providing reassurance that we are on the right path. In their everyday work, they strive for excellence and integrity within our area. They show their commitment to equity and inclusion by actively supporting our students, serving on Pitsogi, and being a code facilitator. They are an excellent steward of our campus resources, and they always strive to find ways to collaborate with folks on campus. It is my pleasure to present the Outstanding Supervisor Award to Will Nolan Lamb from Housing and Residential Services." Now I'd like to welcome Brian Schneider up to present our Outstanding New Professional Award.
The Outstanding New Professional Award highlights the accomplishments of a new professional who has made outstanding contributions toward achieving departmental and divisional goals while working to embrace the student affairs core values. Many of us have seen this drive and enthusiasm in the new professionals in our midst. This year's nominees for Outstanding New Professional were Ben Minogue, Letitia Newman, Renee Fuqua, and Sarah Moskal. The nominator for our first winner wrote, "This person has truly gone above and beyond in their role through taking on additional responsibilities as the chair of the Student Staff Training Committee and with COVID-19 response. This person quickly rose to the challenges presented this year and led their training committee through all twists and turns presented by rapidly changing guidance we received from the state and university. They led the development of a completely virtual training for over 250 community advisors and desk assistants. A supporter shared, within their role as a staff member, they are aware of the space they take up in a room, they recognize the privilege they have been afforded to them, and utilize that privilege appropriately to uplift the voices of others around them. They share their global experiences to help provide folks perspective, are not afraid to confront harmful behaviors from a place of care, and is a champion for students of all identities within their community. It is my pleasure to present the Outstanding New Professional Award to Ben Minogue from Housing and Residential Services. Please join me in congratulating Ben, who is joining us virtually. Because our staff is so amazing, we have 2 outstanding new professionals this year. The nominator for our second winner wrote, "This person has created more new programs for the wellness area in the last year than in the prior 5 years combined. These programs are current, intentional, data-driven, and fun. They're constantly on the path of self-improving and development, and this is motivating to those around them. I find myself improving as a supervisor as they learn to be the best employee they can be. This person has impacted my experience as a graduate assistant in the most positive way," shared a graduate student. "From the start, they have taken their time to get to know us personally, support us in every aspect from work to class to internship, and make sure that we are gaining so much more from this experience. They have always been mindful of the student experience, and they want to inspire students to live healthier lives and be well during their college experience. It is my pleasure to present the second Outstanding New Professional Award to Sarah Moskal from Counseling and Consultation Services." Congratulations, Sarah. At this time, I'll invite Meg back to the stage for our next couple of awards.
All right. The Outstanding Professional Award recognizes an individual who embodies the notion of above and beyond in their daily responsibilities. It acknowledges an employee who actively works toward achieving departmental and divisional goals, embodies student affairs core values, and shows leadership in their professional field. This year's nominees for Outstanding Professional were Brandon Logano, Elena Savoy, Heidi Nelson, Jeff Salmon, and Joe Lifshitz. The nominator for this year's winner expanded on this person's skill set and ability to adapt quickly to make it a smoother student experience at a very hectic time. They listened to individual issues and worked hard to make sure they were addressing concerns and helping students navigate policies and procedures. This person goes above and beyond every single day to serve our students, be a leader in the department and the division, and serve as a valuable campus partner. This person embodies what it means to have good customer service. They go above and beyond for our students to ensure that they are going to be successful. This person jumps in whenever they are needed and serves on different campus committees. They always have a smile on their face, and their laugh is contagious. They are innovative and creative when it comes to brainstorming new ideas for programming on how we serve our students, and they're involved on national levels by presenting and attending conferences and learning how to best serve our Huskies. In a newer role, this person has engaged in conversations to learn about the different demographics of our student body so they can best understand what our students need on campus and how we can serve them. Each and every conversation is about how to serve students and how we get them to graduation. Throughout the pandemic, this person has stepped up in ways that were desperately needed. We would not have been able to provide a fraction of the services we did for our campus community without them. They have physically been on campus almost every single day to be in person, to talk to families, students, and staff on the phones, and they answer every single possible question you could ever think of. This person has become an expert on campus and a go-to person for everyone. The leadership they provide outside their traditional role and aided our division in comforting and sharing information to students, navigating the pandemic and the quarantine process, the Student Emergency Fund, and academic involvement implications from the pandemic. It is my pleasure to present the Outstanding Professional Award to Jeff Salmon from the Center for Student Assistance. Here, I thought you wanted a picture with Mike.
It'll help my parents understand what I do. Just the last one.
Something every single one of us have tried to convey. Thank you, Jeff, for answering countless COVID-related calls this year, in addition to all of your other great work. The Outstanding Commitment to Core Values Award recognizes an individual in student affairs who is committed to the division's core values, who demonstrates this commitment in daily interactions with students, staff, faculty, community members, and other departments on campus, and who consistently supports the academic and personal success of NIU students. We had outstanding nominations for this award, and this year's nominees for Outstanding Commitment to Core Value are Dan Kanan, Don Hardy, and Eric Armstrong. The nominator for our winner wrote, "This person's commitment to NIU students is second to none, in my opinion. I have seen them change their lives through individual mentoring with students who may have been at risk of not completing their degree. They go above and beyond their job duties to be a tremendous partner to various ADEI initiatives, including code facilitation and support to individual centers like the Center for Black Studies. They are also a Title IX liaison and a member of the Baccalaureate and Online Advisory Council." Another colleague stated, "This person is dedicated to challenging the university to do a better job when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion. They are not afraid to ask the tough questions or to hold leadership accountable to goals and initiatives. They understand how important it is for our students of color to see themselves in leadership. They are an advocate for our students of color, and they understand the complexity of student needs and they work to identify the most effective and efficient way to help our students. They are willing to have tough conversations while also working hard to support our students in every possible way. They are empathetic and often draw on their own experiences to make connections. Please join me in congratulating this year's winner for the Outstanding Commitment to Core Values, Eric Armstrong from Military and Veteran Services, who's joining us virtually." And Aubrey will now come back to present the Dolby Award. The Dolby Award for Enhancement of Diversity recognizes a professional staff member who is actively involved in furthering the division's commitment to diversity and inclusion on campus. This individual embodies the division's core values of establishing an inclusive community and recognizes inclusion efforts related to creating inclusive communities and striving for equity and social justice. The nomination for this recipient included statements from several departmental staff members to this one individual. One stated, "Your commitment to the liberation of minoritized people across all fronts is one that has not been lost on me. To this day, I am still so humbled and grateful for your leadership. The fact that you not only took me seriously, but gave me a platform to really do the work means the world to me. I truly hope I run into individuals like you for the rest of my career within higher education. You give me a great deal of hope that one of these days everything will improve." Another colleague said, "I can only ask that you continue to be you and fight the good fight with us. You are the blueprint for what higher education professionals should be. Thank you so much for helping to change my life and show me that there is way more for this little black girl from the south side of Chicago than society originally tried to show me." Additionally, this recipient has continually championed diverse recruitment and hiring strategies that are demonstrated annually in recruitment and hiring practices as a department and partners with ADEI on numerous programs and trainings that increase the cultural competencies of our department staff as well as students living in our communities. They consistently check in with and provide space for students and staff of color to be heard and find support.
It is my pleasure to present this year's Dolby Award for Enhancement of Diversity to Lauren Tessel Warner from Housing and Residential Services, who is joining us virtually this afternoon. Thank you, Lauren, for your commitment to diversity and inclusion on campus. Our next award will be presented by Brian.
The Ruth Haddock Award recognizes a Student Affairs Division member who has made outstanding contributions beyond their position's responsibilities to colleagues' professional development, thereby enhancing the quality of professionalism in the division. The nominator wrote, "This person is always pushing their team to further their education. I would not be pursuing my doctoral degree if it wasn't for their tireless efforts of pushing me to further myself." They also model to the rest of the staff what it means to be a higher education professional. Another colleague stated, "From creating a team of student consultants to better understand our students' needs and wants, to encouraging me, their marketing manager, to enroll in a Master of Science in Digital Marketing program to augment my social media skills, they are continually looking for ways to improve campus dining." It is my pleasure to present this year's Ruth Haddock Award for Professional Development to Dan Kanan from Campus Dining Services. Don't take the direct route. Go all the way around, Dan. Congratulations, Dan. Dr. Kelly Weisner-Michael, Associate Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students, will now take us into our final awards and closing thoughts on this 2020-2021 year.
Good afternoon. I have the honor of presenting the Soaring to Greatness Award. This award was established in 2008. It was created to recognize one department that exemplifies the spirit of sustained leadership, consistently embodies the division's core values, demonstrates creativity and innovation, has worked to improve department efficiency, and continues to go above and beyond the status quo. Typically, the next commentary tries to hide who this is, so it might be a surprise at the end. With this particular department, that is a little bit challenging. So right off the bat, you will determine who is our Soaring to Greatness Award winner this particular year. I want to talk about some of the things that this department did in response to the pandemic, but also throughout the year, planning for the year ahead and all the ways that they're going to continue to expand and make their department even better than what it is right now. I want to highlight a number of the things that they've accomplished this particular year. This department provided welcome kits to all residential students, which contained a plastic straw, real silverware, salt and pepper, and 2 reusable containers for takeout meals. I bet you're thinking, who is this right now, right? They provided 15,000 meals that were delivered to students in isolation and quarantine. I want to say that again. They prepared and delivered 15,000 meals for students who are in isolation and quarantine. They offer nutrition, wellness, and allergy consultation to residential students. As you know, Grubhub has been established on our campus. So they have started the remote ordering. They've also expanded the relationship that allows NIU community members to use their Husky Bucks in restaurants in the Dekalb community, which is also a great outreach effort that they're doing. And in FY22, they will introduce delivery services. They are looking at a HelloFresh concept where they will work to provide a meal kit service for NIU community members, again, looking ahead in the middle of a pandemic. They provided dietetic-themed meals in Neptune and in New Hall during the spring. Happy to continue that particular event, even though we're, again, in the middle of a pandemic. They've done lots to contribute to the institutional budget with cost controls, with reducing controllable costs by 60% this year. They partnered with FCNS and offered Hospitality 320 as a class, a food production class with students preparing meals to be sold in the Husky Depot, again, providing students with an experiential learning opportunity while we're in the middle of this really difficult year. They've expanded meal exchange, providing greater service for our students, and expanded and offered Einstein's as well as Qdoba and the Husky Grill in that manner. They partnered with the One Card to implement a new point of sale system, providing touchless credit card transactions, again, really important this year, but also faster processing. As you can tell, our Soaring to Greatness award winner this year is campus dining. Our trophy this year is super delicate, so we're going to be presenting them with a symbol of the greatness. Congratulations to Campus Dining, who's done amazing work this particular year. I want to add in a little bit of a footnote before we move on to our Partners of Distinction Awards. There are 2 awards that are given institutionally that were received by folks in our division that I wanted to highlight, which also shows the exemplary work that's done by our staff across the division. Dan Pedersen received the SPS Presidential Award for Excellence, and our Center for Student Assistance received the SPS Award for Partnership and Collaboration. Again, 2 great accolades for wonderful work that was done this year, so let's give them a round of applause. And I'm going to invite Kelly Olson, Assistant Dean of Students, to begin our presentation on our final awards.
All right, I have the pleasure of starting our Partnership of Distinction Award. The Partnership of Distinction Award is designed to recognize essential partnerships we have developed that have significantly added to the success of a division. This year has been an extraordinary year in many ways, and we have some extraordinary partners. For our first Partner of Distinction Award, I'm honored to recognize the DeKalb County Health Department. Last March, we never imagined what we were entering into and could not have served our students in the way we have without their partnership. From answering emails and calls all hours of the day and on the weekends, they have been incredible partners. We've appreciated their willingness to consult on programming to help us make safe and wise decisions. They have tirelessly helped us navigate the world of CDC and IDPH recommendations and guidance. And to be honest, they have explained COVID-19 in layman terms when we've needed it, and I know I have appreciated that. They have answered calls and emails about quarantine dates, symptoms, exposure. They've worked with us in tracking down students, searching for test results, identifying roommates, and sorting organizational rosters. And through it all, they have not lost the ability to smile and laugh, which I have also personally appreciated. Most of all, they have cared not only for the entire DeKalb County during this time, but especially NIU and our students. We are grateful for each and every one of their staff members who have given their time to us. And while we've never expected what all COVID-19 was to bring us, we are so grateful to have had the opportunity to work with them this year, and we look forward to our continued partnership as we look on to next year. I'm pleased to welcome Stacia Runge, the Communicable Disease Coordinator from the DeKalb County Health Department, to accept this award.
Thank you again to the DeKalb County Health Department. We would not have made it through this year without your support. For our second partner of distinction, I would like to recognize the Student Government Association with special recognition to Brad Beyer, this year's Speaker of the Senate. This partner is a little different in that they are not an entity outside of the division. However, they're not the same as those in the division. SGA is ultimately self-guided with some advice from our staff, and each year we form new relationships and hope that we can work towards shared goals. While I've only been at NIU for 2 years and have very little institutional history, I have been assured that we have had a stronger partnership this year with SGA than in any recent year in memory, due in large part to Brad's role and his desire to work together. Before Brad was even the speaker, he wanted to make connections with the division leadership and make sure that we were all working together. Once in the role, he worked tirelessly to make sure that SGA was present, well represented, and working in the best interest of the entire student body. We saw this time and time again as he showed up for nearly every week of welcome event, never missed a commitment, volunteered for the early shift on the day of election to serve as a Husky ally, and much more. Some of his larger achievements this year include restructuring the Senate to more accurately represent the student body, overhauling the finance policy to update the processes and make access to student organization funding easier and more equitable, assuring the passage of a completely rewritten student organization policy, and working closely with the election commissioner to ensure an election process that resulted in a turnout of nearly 5 times more than we saw last year. Beyond all of these time-consuming projects that will enable us to better serve students for years to come, Brad also worked to keep student affairs informed so we could provide support as needed. As an entity within the division, SGA can be seen as a reflection of our leadership, and Brad never let us down. He is highly respected across campus and shows a maturity level that far surpasses most of our students and some of our staff, myself included. Brad, thank you for your tireless work, your dedication to the student body, and for being completely unable to walk away from your duties or a problem even after finals and moving into alumni status. You've left large shoes to fill, and your predecessors have a lot to live up to. Come on.
Okay. Our last Partner of Distinction award will be going to Matt Streb, and I'm honored to give that to him. So Matt has worked with our division for lots and lots of different ways. In this past year, heading up the Campus Democracy Challenge, helping us work with our students to get counted in the census and get out the vote. He's worked with us with the 125th anniversary celebrations, the kickoff being in this building. And he's chaired the Husky Pride Lights Committee, which is the commemoration of different university events by using the lights here at the HSC. However, I want to really remark about his work that he's been doing this past year with the pandemic. And I'm going to read from the words of a nominator because I think it best captures all that Matt has done for us. Matt has always been a supporter of student affairs while serving in his role as the president's chief of staff. However, this past year's Matt's relationships and support of our division is worth special recognition. Matt has worked side by side and provided guidance, support, and advocacy for a number of areas within the division. He has worked closely with Home Student Center team while they have navigated to support our local community during the early days of the pandemic, all the way through safely reopening to serve our campus this past fall. Matt advocated hard for our campus dining operations to find solutions and pathways for their team as they operated within the state and local guidelines to provide our students meals during this very challenging time. He collaborated very closely with the Center for Student Assistance, Fraternity and Sorority Life, and the Dean of Students Office to help find solutions for our students to safely stay engaged in activities, but still help stay on a pathway to achieve our Protecting the Pact priorities. Matt forged and strengthened relationships with our campus medical provider, Northwestern Medicine, that has achieved major benefits for our staff within our division. Matt continues to be a fierce supporter and advocate for housing and residential services. Matt has been able to seamlessly move from area to area within our division to listen, provide guidance, and champion our concerns while leading the entire campus's efforts in managing the pandemic. Matt's contribution to the campus this past year is immeasurable, and I would absolutely agree. Thank you, Matt, for all that you've done. Thank you again to our partners of distinction. We are one university, and only by working together can we go above and beyond for our Husky students. Before we wrap up today, I want to take a couple of minutes to talk a little bit more about the amazing work of our team that has been done over throughout this pandemic. We know that this past 14 months has not been easy. Many of you have worked long hours, had to pivot your job duties, and stepped up to do what is needed to serve our students throughout this extraordinary situation. Today, I want to share some specific examples and names of folks beyond our award winners who have really stepped up as our COVID-19 heroes throughout this past year. First, let's take it all the way back to last March, which is a little hard to remember, when housing had to quickly navigate to a safe move-out experience. Not only did they have to communicate the process, arrange times, and enforce safety protocols, they also had to do so at a time most other employees had been sent home and were too nervous about the pandemic to return to campus as a volunteer. Even when campus was shut down, the students had been sent home. Our work was not over. As a university, we were committed to not forcing students to leave who needed to campus for their lack of place to go or the lack of resources in their home. This meant we had to have students living on campus who needed support and access to our services. Our housing and dining teams became the faces of the university, providing support for our remaining students. From last spring to this spring, the staff of these two teams have never stopped working for our students, being present on campus and serving more in an exposed role than most on our campus throughout the course of the year. Additionally, I want to recognize Cindy Meeks and Tom Corrin of the Home Student Center for venturing into quarantine services long before campus reopened. They, along with some of the HSC operations staff, work all summer long in the HSC so they could serve as a quarantine site for DeKalb County before the students returned this fall. Please join me in thanking our housing, dining, and HSC teams for their work on behalf of the division and the university. They truly define what it means to be an essential worker here at NIU. In March, we also launched our Student Emergency Fund, and it became clear that our students were in need. Within the first 3 hours of it being open, a team which was co-led by Kelly Olson received 3,000 applications. I'll say that again, 3,000 applications within 3 hours. Throughout the spring and summer, even working remotely, our staff at the Center for Student Assistance quickly became known on the campus as the go-to people. Joe Lovelace worked hard with local landlords in helping students navigate their leases in COVID-19. Jeff Salmon took the lead to define the CSA and build out its new hubs, and Jeannie Meyer stepped out of her role in conduct to help field hundreds of calls and questions. It quickly became the norm that at the end of almost every campus announcement, an email will say, "Call the CSA with any questions you might have." At the same time, Heidi Nelson and Evan Forbes were working hard to implement 25 Live so we could help with the scheduling for classrooms and events as COVID regulations rolled out. August brought the reopening of the buildings and the return of staff on a rotational basis and students back to campus. Our housing team once again had to step up to coordinate an extraordinary move-in process, and staff across the division volunteered to assist both in person as well as doing gateway testing checks on the back end. Students moving in also meant an attempt at an in-person week of welcome. Staff from the Student Center, along with staff from our involvement areas, came to campus almost every day, working long hours in an attempt to provide in-person, physically distanced programs for our new Huskies, again, at the time when many others were not comfortable volunteering, and we stretched every person as far as we could. Once we got past moving, we tried to pretend that everything was sailing smoothly, but the ups and downs of the pandemic kept us on our toes. Kelly Olson got pulled into the creation of this COVID compliance team, both of which took more time than one of us had to offer in any given week, and neither of which would have been possible without the help of folks like Brian Glick doing all the behind-the-scenes work. Students created new uses for our parking lots and the lagoon, and we quickly needed to pull together a team to implement in-person programming opportunities. Meg Junk, Elena Savoy, Heidi Nelson, and Joe Lipschitz were in constant motion trying to develop program ideas, find resources, explore virtual options, create event guidelines, and keep up with the constant up and down of in-person to virtual, hybrid to in-person, to all of that on a weekly basis. Brandon Logano was unexpectedly tasked with quarantine and returned to campus communication tasks, which seemed to become his full-time position. Luckily, he had a great team of additional staffers, including Becky Hayes, who connected with students in quarantine, checking in to make sure they had everything they needed and trying to answer any questions. And let's not forget our HSC operations team, Jeffrey Royce, Sarah and Estes Alvarez, who had the envious task of confronting our Huskies every single day with their mask requests. These are just a few examples of how our team has worked so hard throughout this year to support our students during this time. I also want to thank some additional COVID heroes whose names were submitted by colleagues who see the amazing work being done by our staffs. Those names include Tim Chortier, Brian Schneider, Abby Van Rieren, Marissa Dordick, Dan Paducah, Mara Spivey, Andrew Karp, Will Bowers, Daniel Hernandez, and Ken Whitney. Thank you to each and every one of you for going above and beyond this year. We listed these COVID heroes because we know that they went above and beyond as we tried to manage the pandemic. But I also want to recognize every one of the members of our student affairs team who did all that they could to make sure our students would succeed through this really challenging and unforgettable year. So give yourselves a round of applause as we close out what has been a tremendous year and seen the amazing work of this great team. As we bring today's ceremony to a close, I want to acknowledge that there's been a lot of stress, but there has been a lot of learning and growing too. Never waste a good crisis has become one of my working mottos over the years, and we certainly did not waste this one. As a division, we choose to seize the opportunity to make needed changes and make the most of this situation. I am so proud of this team in our division and the work we've done this past year, and the work I know will continue, and the work I know that we will continue to do into the future. As I've said before and will say again, I will put my team up against any other team in the world and have every confidence that we will come out on top. Thank you for all that you do for our Huskies, and have a great summer.